Welcome to the fastest daf in town. Today, Masechtas Kiddushin daf Lamed Hey. We're going to begin on Lamed Hey Amud Aleph, about 12 lines from the top. We've been discussing in yesterday's daf, when it comes to a woman, why is it that they are pater when it comes to a mitzvah saseh shazman grama, a positive time-bound mitzvah. And we ended up saying we learned it out from tefillin, which is learned out from Talmud Torah, and just like tefillin is a mitzvah saseh shazman grama and nashim paturos, so to all the mitzvos. And we learned that out through a binyan av mamatzinu to all other cases. Now, on the other side, when it comes to a mitzvah saseh, which is shalozman grama, we learn out from Moiro. It comes to fearing your parents, in which the pasuk says tira'u. There's a chiyuv of fearing them, and therefore that's for the wife or the daughter as well. And because of that, they are chayiv, and so too in all other cases, the din is the same. And we ended up saying that even though maybe you can say it's shneik sumboin ke'achad, because in addition to the chiyuv of Moira, so it's also perhaps there's a chiyuv of puruvu. So we ended up saying that that's again, it's not necessarily an issue, as we saw in the previous daf, because we brought down a sricha. So hanichol mandi armishnik so boin keachad ein malamdin el mandir malamdin ma'ikol meimar. So now we go back to our question and we say that so it's a shneik sumin keachad ein malamdin, so therefore you can't learn out that when it comes to mitzvah saseh shazman grama that women are chayiv, even though there are a couple of times, but because of ein malamdin. But if you hold malamdin, so we're back to our question. So Rabbi papunoi yadi lo lataimo dohamilsa. He knew the reason for this. And umanhu, who is this referring to specifically? Rabbi Achabar Yaakov. Omer Kor, the pasuk says v'hoylachal ois al yadcha uzikaron beinenecha. So this is from Parshas Bo, and it talks about the mitzvah tefillin. And then it says, that the Torah should be in your mouth. So why do we make this connection? So Hushakol Torah Kul tefillin. The entire Torah is compared to tefillin. Ma tefillin, mitzvah saseh shazman grama nashim baturos, avkom mitzvah saseh shazman grama nashim baturos. So therefore, we're actually going to learn out from this pasuk, even though we did already learn out from tefillin to Talmud Torah, that from Mamatzino. But the question is, what happens if you should say maybe fakert, maybe when it comes to other mitzvahs, they are a mitzvah saseh shazman grama, they are still chayiv. So the answer is because of this smichas aparshis. And with the mitzvah saseh shazman grama nashim paturos, we can infer mechla the mitzvah saseh shazman grama nashim chayavos. So you don't need to go on to because of Moira, because the reality is even without that, we can just make this diuk that when are women pater, because it's like tefillin, which is a mitzvah saseh shazman grama. Mashma, when it comes to a mitzvah which is not zman grama, then women would be chayiv. Now hold on. That's only if you hold tefillin actually is a time-bound mitzvah, which means that we don't wear tefillin at night or on Shabbos and Yom Tov. There's actually a shita that says in Masechtas Shabbos and Erevin that it's actually mitzvah saseh shlozman grama. So Michael Meimar, so man shemol dedim mitzvah saseh shlozman grama. Who is that das yachid? Who is that opinion? Rameir. The several shneik sum going kechad, the chol shneik sum going kechad ein malamdin. So it's very interesting. The whole premise of us having to change our whole mindset is because if you hold shneik sum going kechad ein malamdin, which is actually, that is what Rameir holds. But if you hold malamdin, and then until you have three different mitzvos, then we don't learn out of mamatzinus. And then we had the kasha, we had to bring onto this, that we learn out from tefillin. But the question is, Rameir holds that's a mitzvah saseh shlozman grama, but he doesn't even need to come on to that. Says Rashi, l'didei lo itzrach hakesha. According to him, Rameir, he doesn't need this hekesh v'manti Torah seshem baficha. Ella kid gamrinan beresha, like we learned before in binyan av. V'gama Maria, and we went out from Maria. Dahavi mitzvah saseh shazman grama v'nashim baturos. that women are pater. Udikashalon le'el v'leil mematzav hakel. l'chiyuva. So why don't we say by matzah and hakel they're chayiv, maybe all. So Rameir saver shnik sumber and kechad ein malamdin. So you can't ask the kasha. I want to learn from matzah and hakel that you're chayiv because you have two. Why does the Torah have to mention these two cases? It must be that dafka matzah and hakel women are chayiv. However, all other situations, which is a time-bound positive mitzvah, they're potter. Okay, fine. Weiter. Rabbi Yehuda der mistake sumboin keachad malamdin utfil mitzvah say shalaz man grama so man kamemor. So Rabbi Yehuda is actually difficult because he actually holds like Rabbi Meir that it's also considered to be tefillin is a non-time bound mitzvah. So therefore the question is, how does he know all these dinim? How does he know that women are potter from mitzvah say shalaz man grama? You can't learn out from this hekish because again, this is assuming that tefillin is a time-bound mitzvah, but according to him, it's not. And you can ask the kasha by matzah and hakel. So mishum dehavi matzah simcha v'hakel shloisha ksum boin keachad u'shloisha ksum boin keachad ein malam. Even though we mentioned that there was an opinion that held, says Rashi, v'losvirli kabadi armel el isha bal b'samcha, that it's really the husband's obligation to be masmeach his wife. No, the woman has a chiyuv herself. And therefore, because of that, the truth is there's three instances where we find that women are chayiv by time-bound mitzvos, namely matzah, hakel, and simcha. Therefore, even he will say in malamdin. So you cannot learn out from that. And therefore, it's no longer a kasha. Anytime you have a mitzvah sosa say, women are potter, women are chayiv in all those negative mitzvahs I say, with the exception of three. So minahan mili. So how do we know this? Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav v'chein, and so too was Tana Rabbi Shmuel. Amar Kra, the pasuk says, Ish o isha kiyas mikol chatois adam. A man or a woman who does any of these sins. So Hishma kasav ishal ishal chol einshin shibatayra. The Torah links a man and a woman to all punishments in the Torah. Let's hold off on the second one. Let's Taisus for a second. The time at Tarasta, the Paturos, the Lake Lamel Matzav Hakel, the Ika Simcha Bahadaihu, Habishoshisum going Kayachad. Get apprecious. El the mitzvah says Shalozman Grama Manola de Chayevas Ema de Paturos Matamatar Pindin Ben. The Yishomer the Lace later Rabbi Yochanan broke of Havli Shnik Someone Kayachad, Tamatar Pindin Ben, Upir Varivia. So we said in the Gemara before, just to clarify, there's a machlokus when it comes to puravu. Are women mechuyev in puravu? So according to him, he would say that Talmud Torah, Pindin Ben, and puravu are three cases where we find that these are mitzvahs aseh, shelo zman grama, and they are in these cases potter. Okay, fine. Weiter. So we find, first of all, that men and women are equal when it comes to punishments. So the Torah connects men and women to judgments. That the man and the woman. So all the misa, says Rashi, she is chayiv hahargan alehin misa. V'chein hashor koifer. So to be chayiv, one who kills them, misa, and so too an ox that kills a man or an ox that kills a woman, the din is the same. Tzricha. So why do we need all these three different cases? Just say men and women are the same when it comes to basically all these laws. So why by Unshin, Dinim, and Misa? So this is question 11. My Israch Kroi, Hein ba'Unshin, v'Hein b'Dinim, lashmi'ina neshiva shava ha'makasav ish ish. So this is the Gemara's answer in question 11. If maybe the reason why they're compared to each other when it comes to punishments, mishum kapara, in order to achieve atonement, chas rachmanallah, Hashem has mercy upon her. Avol dinim im ish davar masumatan in isha lo. A man is the one who's generally engaged in business transactions. So maybe it's dafka the man and not the woman. That's why he mentions dinim, that they're the same. Yashmin and ha mishum dachayusahi. Maybe when it comes to dinim, it's chayusa, says Rashi. Di'ilesa b'chlal dinim ein l'chayim. If there's no din of going to court if you're wronged, then she won't be able to survive. Hakol goizel noisa. Everyone's gonna steal from her. He goizelos as achem. She may steal from others. Hakol bedelin himenu. Everyone's gonna separate from her. They don't have anything to do with her because they know that there's no way you can take her to court. So obviously the laws of courts have to be the same because it's after all it's a matter of basic life and death. So mishum chayusahi of koifer. When it comes to kaifer, it says Rashi, "Gabi kaifer the shor hamoyed shahargas adam." When it comes to a wild ox that kills a person, Ema maybe would say as we continue to daf lamed hey amid beis, maybe you would say that not necessarily ish davar mitzvahs in. Maybe if an animal kills a man who's mechuyev mitzvahs, so then there's the din of kaifer. However, ish shalo, but not when it comes to a woman. The yashmin and ha mishum deika iban neshama. So maybe when it comes to here, it's a loss of life. So we don't care who it is. Chas rachman Allah. Doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. A loss of life is loss of life. These other cases was not loss of life. So maybe the din is different. Now I understand that women are not obligated if they're a kohen or bas kohen that she could still become tameh. Emor el hakohanim b'nei Aaron. So the drush is simple. B'nei Aaron v'lo b'nais Aaron. It only applies to men and not to women. How do we know that women are not mechuyev in the mitzvah of making sure not to cut the corners of their hair or their beards? Hopefully they don't have a beard. That it says, don't cut off the corners of your hair. And don't destroy the corners of your beard. So so just practically, they're linked. So therefore, because any person who has the mitzvah of not to shave off a beard also has the din of payas. If you don't have the din of shaving your beard, because women just simply don't have beards, so then she's not going to have the din of baltakif either. So that's the basic svara. So Gemara says, how do we know they don't have the din of beards? So I already said one answer. Iboy say svara, the halo islahu zakin, because they don't have beards. The iboy say makra, your makra lo sakipo pas roishchem. So it's interesting. It says roishchem, which is lashon rabim, and then it says v'losashcha says pas zikanecha, your beard, which is lashon yachid. Now, but shani kra b'dibure, why does the pasuk change from speaking about people in the multitudes to an individual? It must be the why does it say that? The imkein nichtav rachmana pasik kanchem. It should really say consistent. So why does it say zikanecha? My zikanecha will zakan ishtecha. Your beard, not your wife's beard. Okay. Hello, is that true? You're telling me that that's not that there's no din when it comes to a woman regarding this? Lasanya. Zikan Isha, when it comes to the bard of a woman, it says clearly they do have a saris, and someone who is a saris, who is not necessarily castrated, but it could be a saris chama, an individual who has is sterile. Shelohu seyor, and upon him is hair. Harihin kazakal chodevarehim. It says it's considered to be a zaken regarding all matters. My lav l'hashchasa. We see clearly that a woman, it says zakan isha, and it says it's considered like a beard regarding all matters. So we see that women are mechuyev to not shave their beards or whatever facial hair they have. So Amar Abaye l'hashchasa what's the samrit? You can't tell me hashchasa because they'll pas mibnei Aaron. We already learned Gzer Shava from Bnei Aaron. Ma'al hol noshim paturos, avkan noshim paturos. Says Rashi, Ksib bi Yisrael pasik anechu, Ksib b'kohanim pasik kohanim li'alechu. The kosak hadat in our Havamina, the Ksib emor el kohanim b'nei Aaron v'lo b'nois Aaron. Akul milsa the Ksib b'hu in yad koi. So when it talks about really about Tuma, but it's talking about maybe everything that's mentioned over there, which includes the dinim of hashchasa. So therefore, since it's already mentioned over there that the Kohen is potter, so to the Bas Kohen, there's no din of becoming Tameh, there's no Chiyuv. So too when it comes to this. The V'yisvir l'adachik kasev b'nei Aaron akul and yoniksiv. Well, if you want to tell me it's actually going on everything, so nishta kraminei, the pasuk should not say anything. The taste of Bekavachayim, but I would say, Ma Kohanim shri behem mitzvahs akasim mitzvahs seris B'nei Aaron v'lo b'nai Yisrael and Yisrael kol shekain. It would be a davar pashut. We know that in general, Kohanim have more mitzvos. So therefore, the fact that it excludes women, certain, even though it's a benos Aharon, the daughters of a Kohen, certainly Yisrael would not be mechuyev in these mitzvos. So Elav Gzer Shava, Gemara says, well, the truth is, this Gzer Shava is still necessary. Because without it, Havamina, Hifsa Ka'inyan. You would think Hifsa Ka'inyan. What does that mean? Says Rashi, V'lo koi b'nei Aaron el atuma. L'chud. Maybe the exclusion of women is only regarding to the dinim of Tuma. Sheish Hefsek ben Tayim, Kigon Loh Yatama. So there's other psukim before it gets into these other inyanim. So therefore, maybe that's a Hefsek, that's an interruption. And therefore, maybe we do not learn from this. So that's why you need the Gzer Shava to tell you that no, that really women are pater regarding these things also. So Hashanam name Hifsek Inyan. So why don't we say it's a Hifsek Inyan? But Mishum Gzer Shava. So you can't say, oh, so maybe it's a Hifsek Inyan. Yeah, but there's a Gzer Shava. So the whole purpose of the Gzer Shava is to tell you that they are linked. Yeah, but maybe the Gzer Shava is telling you something else. If you use scissors, you'd be chayiv cutting your beard or your payas. A person should not use pincers or removers. Even though it's not a razor. It has to be an issue of shaving. They're both. Has to be shaving which is destructive. So maybe that's what the Gzer Shava is telling you. The inyan of the Isser is specific to a razor, but maybe it's not telling you anything about women's chiyuv regarding the beard. So imkein nechtav kra es shib zikanecha. My pas zikanecha shema mina tarti. We see two things. Says Rashi, Gzer Shava shlema l'madcha kasav avachol homer be'inyan. So it's okay. It teaches us this whole notion about the razor, but it's also coming to tell you the notion that women are pater. The Elwa Hadasanya. It does say Zakana Isha Asara Shelo Seir Hari Hein Kazachal Hodabrayim. So Lamai Hilchasa. So you're already telling me that when it says the beard of a woman is not referring to the dinim of shaving it, so then what is it talking about? That it's considered to be a beard l'chol divrayim. So Omar Marzutra l'tumas negoyim. We're talking about the tuma of tsaras, that we look at the very simanim of hairs that grow and where it is in connection to it, the flesh of the body. So based on that, we will say the dinim are the same. If a person has hairs growing on their face, man or woman, and it's something which is one of the simanim of saras, so that person is considered to be tameh. So Tumas Negoyim behedik, the pasuk says explicitly already that women have the same dinim. It says ish o isha kiyebo naga baraish o bezakan. It says beferish, a woman with on her beard. So obviously we compare men and women when it comes to Tumas Negoyim. El Omar Marzutra, you're right. Rather with Taharas Negoyim. We're talking about the purification of the process of this. Says Rashi, yitar, that when she becomes pure, tita'ain din taharas mitzayra b'tegalachas v'tzipornoim, v'tzipoyrim rather. That she has to. There's a din of shaving. And there's also the chiyuv of bringing birds. So taharas negoim nami pshita kivan de bas tumahi bas taharihi. So what do you mean? If the same dinim of tuma apply, so then the same dinim of tahara should apply. Why would you think not? So maybe you can read the psukim and stadim and say like this: Isho isha kiyabo nagam arosha bazaken hadar aton laish. So when it says obazaken, maybe that's going on the man. Kamash malon, that it's talking about her as well. So therefore, again, it's not necessarily a davar pashid, but rather you actually, it's coming to teach you Taka's Rashi says tumas negoyim kid ka'amra. It's really talking about tuma. It says isha, yeah, but you could read the psukim that isha may not be going on the word zaken. Isi tani af yikrachu nashim. Okay, question 12. Zaken isha, the beard of a woman. L'may hilchas ha'enu kezaken ish. In what way is it not like the beard of a man? And that is that she has no din of hashchasa, which means she's allowed to shave. However, Umay hilchos hari hein kazakin ish when it comes to tumas negoyim, and he puts in parentheses otaris negoyim. Okay, so isi tani afbal yikrachu nashim paturos. There's also the din of lo yikrachu karcha, that a person is not allowed to, in the time of a veilus, rip out their hair. So that doesn't apply to women. So my time to isi the darsh hachi banim atam Hashem alkeichem. It says banim, which is referring to men, not sons, not daughters. And it says lotis goidedu. You shouldn't make any gashes on your body. V'osasimu karcha bein einechem. You should not make any bald spots between your eyes. Lameis. Ki am kadosh atol Hashem alkeichem. Because you're not kadosh. So what is the drasha? Banim v'benois lekarcha. So it's not just Baal Tatama, Baal Tashchis, Baal Takif, but it's also the din of Baal Tatama. So Atayim Karchoeno Ella Gedida. Maybe the patur is not ripping out the hair, but it's Gedida of making gashes. That's the patur for women. Kishu Aimer Kiyam Kadosh Atol Hashem Elkecha. So Hari Gedida Omar. When it says that you have to be an Am Kadosh, that's referring to Gedida, and therefore she's chayiv in that. So Hamanam Makayim Banabul Banois is Lakarcha. So Maru so Rabos as a Gedida Lohaitze as a Karcha. If you're including one and excluding the other, why one and not the other? Why are you assuming that she's chayiv in Gedida but she's potter in Karcha? So Mar Bani as a Gedida, the reason why she'd be chayiv in making a gash, she yishna b'makam haseir v'shlo b'makam seir, because you can make a gash anywhere in your body, so it's more inclusive. So therefore, it makes sense that it should also be inclusive of who we're talking about, not just a man, but also a woman. This is more exclusive to dafka on a place where you have hair, because you can't rip out your hair unless you have hair. So therefore, because it's exclusive, we exclude women. The aim of banavul bana is ben l'karcha ben l'gedida. Maybe women are potter from both. Maybe it's talking about srita. Says Rashi, the srita gedida tartininhu chad biyad v'chad b'kli. Maybe they're two separate things. One is a gash using like a knife, and one is ripping your flesh with your hands. So maybe that's what it's telling you, that maybe they're potter and gedida, but they're chayv and srita. Sarbi isi srita gedida. As we're going to say just two more words, and that'll be the end. Achasi. This is considered to be the same thing, and therefore you can't say, oh, they're chayiv in one, potter the other. They're going to be potter in gedida and srita, because either way it's the same thing. You're making a cut in your body. It doesn't matter if it's biyad or b'kli, and therefore they're potter specifically when we're dealing with karcha. Okay, question TA2. Interesting, easy question. This is a nice question. Well, Indian Elu Gimel Devarim Hikash Akasev Ish Ish. That's it. No Srichasa, no nothing. TA2. Just simply when it comes to the laws of Oinshin, the laws of Dinim, and also the laws of Misa. Be'eza Hazah. Okay, we didn't do that. TB3. Elu Mitzvahs Loisa say Nimnu B'Mishno Braisa Denashim Paturos Behen. So what are the mitzvahs that a woman is mitzvahs losa say the women are potter? So we already said about the tama, about tashkis, about the tama mesim, and according to isi about karcha, not to make any rippings out of your hair, lames adkan.